What is going on, everybody? Welcome to Friday Lunch with the Clydesdale. Yeah, we are here. It's Friday, headed into the weekend. Oh, I need a weekend, man. The older I get, man, the more time I need to recover from these trips. It was a great trip to Albany, long drive back, and I'm just feeling beat up, man. Feeling beat up. I have like something going on in my neck where it hurts to turn my head. And I don't know if I slept wrong. I don't know if it was a long drive back. Just trying to get back into the groove of things and really just trying to get my neck to move. Using the Theragun on it. Probably getting shaken baby syndrome from it. But at least it's starting to loosen up a little bit today. So hopefully we'll be better going into the weekend. Haven't thrown a dart all weekend. We'll do one now. And low. Almost dead center, but low. Damn it. We've got Craig. We've got Holly. Sarah Cooper, breakfast for her. Man, I think I'm allergic to eggs now. And it's really like making it hard for me to make breakfast. So I've been just doing like protein bars and oatmeal. Man, I got to figure something out. Happy Friday from Linda. Yeah, Jeff, I have a crick in my neck. Joseph Ramirez, we met at the games. I didn't put 2 and 2 together until like 20 minutes later. It was awesome to meet you, Joseph. Little BP 157. Yeah, that's what I need. Plant Powered Fitness. Happy Friday. Time for coffee. Yeah, I'm on the coffee today. We have Autistic Killer in the house. What's up? What's going on? So, yeah, just feeling beat up after the week. Need a weekend just to kind of chill, get everything kind of stretched out, and hopefully next week's better. And then we'll be riding high by the time the Masters CrossFit Games come along. Yesterday, I guess I broke a little bit of news. I'd actually been sitting on that for a while. A couple people had told me this had happened. I broke the news yesterday that Danielle Brandon and Matt Torres ended up at the same pub in Albany. I heard that Danielle was there first. Torres showed up. They got into a little public rift. And then Jenny clipped it, posted it on her story yesterday, and now Danielle has blocked me. So I am officially, and I thought enhanced access was going to do it for me. Thought enhanced access was going to make me official media, but now I'm blocked by Danielle. So apparently I have moved into the realm of official, like real CrossFit media now. So I guess I'm there. Jenny, actually, her and I have talked this morning. She has more to the story than I do. And I think it's going to be in her weekend update. So, and there went my notes. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens, what she releases. She has way more. It's a lot more interesting. Judy makes too much sense. Why couldn't they just ignore each other? Sarah says that would be too adult. Jeff is like, if I'm Matt and I walk in and see her, I just turn around and find another place to have a beer. That's kind of why I even brought it up. Hold on 1 second. There we go. Got my notes back. That's kind of the reason I brought it up, because if I'm Matt Torres, one of the guys on the Brute team won the CrossFit Games. One of your Brute guys won last year. They're different people. You have another guy on the Brute team that has the potential to win, and you have like everything in front of you. And then you have this thing that you just can't seem to quit, like almost like an addiction. Like you can't quit it. And is that thing going to ruin all this that you have going on? I'm with you. Like if I walk into that building and I see her, I get the hell out. Get the hell gone. I have this bright future, and people look at me as like the coach in the space right now. And why ruin this over this? And he just can't quit her. He just can't quit her. Jeff is, yeah, why let her harsh your buzz? Savon, bro, super beaver. It must be there. It's got to be like that Pulp Fiction, open the suitcase, shining light coming up through there. Because like he cannot give it up. He can't stop himself. It is insane to me, because everything else he has going on in his life is tremendously on the uptrend, right? And just give up that. Just give up that, and you are sailing, brother. You are sailing. But he just can't. He just can't. So again, I've talked to Jenny. I know some of the stuff she has coming. Watch for her Jenny's dense updates, because she's gonna have a little bit more on that. And but that's why it fascinates me. The fascination is his fascination, and that is why he can't quit her and allow the rest of his life to move in the right direction. Jeff, what is the intel on who was with Matt, i.e. was Fee with the group? I honestly, my sources were not as good as Jenny's, and I guess Hiller has some information too. I got very vague details from my two sources, because they didn't want to be identified as a person who went on the wrong side of Danielle. So Savon lives vicariously through Torres. What a crazy life that dude has right now. What a crazy life. Ryan Aldrich, Matt seems like a guy who wants to be the best. Part of that is having the best athletes. She's a phenomenal athlete and woman. He wants that on his team, not on someone else's. Well, they, yeah. They're not, she's not on his team anymore. At least one way. Vindicate says Torres can do so much better. You know, Vindicate, it's like, the problem is he's like hooked on the meth, and he doesn't even care about the better drugs. He just wants the meth. Vicky says phenomenal woman is questionable. Athlete, sure. Rambler, yes, so many fish out in the sea. Jeff Bako, Scott and I approach this as 55-year-old men. When you're in your 30s, you respond much more emotionally, I am sure. I am sure when I was a young lad, I would have done some stupid ass shit. I did some stupid ass shit. I'm just glad cell phones weren't invented yet when I was doing my stupid ass shit. Man, when he does tell the story finally, it will be fast. It will be interesting. It'll be interesting. It'll be fascinating. It'll be all those things. Amen on no cell phone back in the day. Dude, I pray every day and thank the Lord that had not been invented yet. No way do I want my stupid ass shit documented for history. The talk should be about how DB can fix their lifting for future comps, not who had a fight at an after party. George, but I think it all goes together. It all goes together. To me, that like the fascinating part is not the fight. The fascinating part is you have this man who has every bit of success in front of him. Tremendous athletes, probably the best training camp, 2 past champions this year and last year. And he's moving in the right direction, and he can't quit the thing that could get in his way. He can't quit the thing. That's the fascinating part. That's the story. Joseph Ramirez, maybe congratulate her on her squat performance. That is possible. So anyway, yeah. So that is that. I just wanted to let you guys know that I am now officially CrossFit Media. I am blocked by Danielle Brandon, and it only took Jenny clipping what I said and posting it for me to get blocked quick as hell. So, in addition to that, the TYR SoCal rosters have been announced, and this I stole this from Jenny. So this is she had posted on her thing and a question as to why James was not one of the athletes chosen. And I think, and I have the tags up just so we can see who it is, because the picture is just kind of an artist rendering of the athletes. On the American side, you have Alexis Raptis, Patrick Vellner, Jason Hopper, Justin Medeiros, Emma Lawson, Dallin Pepper, Alex Kazan. And so you have Hopper, Vellner, and Medeiros. Hopper and Vellner are TYR athletes, as well as Dallin Pepper. And then you have Medeiros, who is a rad athlete. Justin Medeiros has 500,000 followers on Instagram. James Sprague has 88,000, which is tremendously lower than Justin Medeiros. That is, and James does not have a shoe affiliation that I know of at this point. Yes, I see people in here saying Vellner is old news, but Vellner is a TYR athlete. This is a TYR sponsored event. And for everybody who wants a professional sport, these are the things you get in professional sports. It is based on your affiliation with companies when you have these invitational type events. This is an invite only event, and TYR is running it. And TYR is very adamant about their product and people wearing their product. So the majority of the athletes will be TYR athletes. I saw, I think it was Sarah isn't James Adidas. I don't think a formal contract ever got done with Adidas. He was on Boys Interrupted a couple times ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and said that he does not have a head to toe sponsor. So no apparel, no shoe. And that the other three were going to try to help him get one. And that just boggles my mind. I think that is something that completely baffles me, how someone who is as energetic as and likable as James Sprague is does not have a sponsor like that. So Vindicate says, and that's how you get people not to give a shit about your competition. We want the best athletes. It's just a fact of life in pro sports. They're going to take care of their own and the people signed with them when they have these events. And this is how I found out I was blocked by Danielle. I was trying to get Instagram follower accounts as to why someone may have been chosen over another who's not in a tier shoe. So it's primarily people in tier shoes, and then the couple that aren't are pretty high Instagram follower rates. I think Emma is tier. Raptus is tier. Alex Kazan is tier. So, and then you have Danielle Brandon, who is rad, but she has a shit ton of followers. And on the world side, I'm not as familiar, but I believe Gracie Walton, Ricky Garrard, Jay Crouch are all tier. Tia, I believe, is tier for the moment. Roman Krennikov is definitely tier. Guy is tier. Amy Kringle is rad, but she has a shit ton of followers. And Emma Tall, I think, is tier as well. So you're talking the majority is, Gracie is LSKD and rad. But she has a ton of followers as well. I think Tia is tier shoe, LSKD apparel. But she seems to switch about every few months, so don't quote me on that. Because I don't think LSKD makes a shoe yet. And I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people don't like rads. The rads that they had at the games this year were sick. If I had $150 to throw away, I would have had a new pair of rads coming home with me from the games for sure. They looked amazing. Apparently, they didn't grip a pegboard very well, but they looked amazing on the floor. These days, it's about your social media following. I think in this, it is first and foremost, are you with tier to be invited? And then after that, then they go to Instagram following or social media following. James is out of SoCal and doesn't have a shoe sponsor, even though he is the champ. Who is his manager? That is an incredible question, Tyler Watkins, and so insightful on your part. His manager, I believe, is Sin, Strength in Numbers. They were a group that we were with for 30 days. They also represent Sporty Beth, and I made a video about Sporty Beth, and we were removed from their roster 30 days after we got with them. So that's what's important to Sin, and that's why James is sitting there with no sponsor. Now we got shoe talk going on. Yes, Sporty Beth has a manager. Yes. Crazy enough. Yeah, just to let you guys know, like, so the manager we were with was independent, and he had Alex Kazan, James Sprague, and then we came on. Sin signed him to a deal less than 30 days after we signed with him. And then our contract was supposed to move directly over with Sin. I made the video about Sporty Beth, and immediately I get confronted on my way to Wadapalooza in the Minnesota airport by my agent, and I'm told, yep, probably no longer with them. And so that's how we weren't even there for 30 days. So crazy. And at the end of the day, is that someone you even want to be with when you cannot be? If I can't be authentic, I shouldn't be with them anyway. Sporty Beth has endorsements. I don't know. I don't know what her portfolio looks like. I just know that she is. Last time I looked at the roster, she was still on it. So, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I saw that on Dence's story today, and I thought we would look at that and just see how the TYR Cup is primarily TYR athletes. I wouldn't even put much stock into the people that are there, because if Alexis Raptis is as hurt as she says that she is, and Alex Kazan is still recovering, there's no way that Alex is going to give up her future for an invitational. Patrick Clark, to correct, James is not represented by Sin. He is with Ripple. So that must have changed recently. And with Alexis's back injury, I don't see her doing an invitational at the expense of her future either. So, I have my top 5 memories from the CrossFit Games. I'm going to start with an honorable mention. One of my favorite things that happened this year at the CrossFit Games was that I got to do trivia night with Amanda Hari, and that was at a local pub in Albany. We went out for dinner, and we got into a trivia night in which we were only 4 points out of the lead at the very end of the night, and we bet it all. We bet the house on Final Jeopardy and lost it, but we had a freaking blast. So much fun playing trivia night, and get to hang out with her. And I'm glad that we become really good friends, and get to do stuff like that. I would love if that became like an annual thing where we found a trivia night, maybe get some media members and go hang out at a trivia night before the CrossFit Games. It would be fun. Lito said, didn't they say at the TTT podcast that Alexis didn't have much pain at the end at all in the end this weekend, and it was more fear and not having done certain movements since her injury? They may have said that. You're talking to a guy who has had 12 back procedures. Your back can feel fine, and one wrong move, if it's not healed, will get you in trouble. And so I hope that they let that disc stabilize before she pushes it for a while over this SoCal Invitational is not a necessary thing. But it's up to her. And there's Amanda Hari in the chat. I'm always down for trivia. Always. That was so much fun. So much fun. They said it wasn't herniated, I believe. Yeah, I don't know if you can trust what's being said on a podcast. Um, that's all. That's where I'll leave that. My number 5 memory of the CrossFit Games this year, and that is that James Sprague validated the fact that he was a champion level athlete. Taking third, getting on the podium this year, and validating what he had done the year before, I think was an amazing thing that he had done. And really happy for him that he was able to do that. Seeing him on different podcasts and him talking about how it did affect him, that people were saying that his being fittest on earth was not real or didn't mean anything because they eliminated 2 events. For him to go out and not only take third this year at the CrossFit Games, but win Wadapalooza and put all that kind of up together, I think that is a tremendous win for James Sprague. My number 4 memory from this year's CrossFit Games was getting to see Carolyn Prevost compete again. We don't know how many more times that'll be. This may have been the last one. She talks about that very openly in some stuff that I did with her. It was really exciting to see her back out on the floor one more time. She's just a class act. She's really good for the sport. She's getting better and better about talking about the sport and has really done a lot to make our Sunday night show better and better. And she's become such a good friend. It was awesome to see her out there competing again and being in her environment one last time. Number 3 memory from the CrossFit Games was seeing all of the merch changes in the CrossFit tent at Vendor Village. Getting to see the Pukey shirts, getting to see Forging Elite Fitness back on shirts and mugs and flags, getting to see that Routine is the Enemy shirts, new ways of creating the logo just so it was fresh and new. It was really exciting to see that CrossFit had made those changes, and not just changes, but reflecting on its history and its fundamentals of what made it great. And I really did enjoy seeing that in Vendor Village. Number 2 for me was Lucy Campbell winning event 4, the Albany Grip Trip. Her going to her going toe-to-toe with Tia and setting the pace, and Tia failing a rep trying to keep up with her. I thought that was awesome. And it was such a highlight from the weekend. So exciting to watch. Such an ingrained memory. She's amazing. And her story, like, if there's not a documentary crew documenting that comeback, that's a big miss on CrossFit's part. Someone should have had all of that set up, and then when she did what she did at the games, just finish off that documentary. And then number 1 was event 9, and sitting there watching Jason Hopper drop the final bar on running Isabel and thinking, oh my God, he is giving up the CrossFit Games in that moment, and somehow gathering himself and finishing it and still maintaining a lead going into that last event. That was such a cool moment. The gasps in the crowd were loud. It was electric and so much fun to watch. And the other thing is, and it led to the ending of the final event with Sprague and Medeiros getting ahead of Hopper, Medeiros out touching Sprague, but Hopper staying composed, knowing he just had to take third in the event to win. And he did that. And it was incredible. But yeah, it was a great games, great vibes. I talk about it a lot this week. CrossFit got back to the fundamentals. They got back to their North Star. That's why this worked out this weekend. I think that's why the vibes were good and the athletes shined. Dave gave them a competition where they could take those workouts and shine as athletes. So, Sarah, I should have listened to you. I didn't try to buy CrossFit logo stuff till late Saturday, and most of the stuff was sold out. Jody, someone's got to ping me if I'm not here. And also, how is it already 12:45 on a Friday? I don't know, but I can't wait for the weekend. And when you're not here, we just assuming you're selling like a big kitchen or something. You're like the Mac Daddy salesman. Sarah Cooper, oh, that's too bad, Judy. At least you have the Mayhem gear. I also heard that it's all about the inventory in having it up on the site. One, it either sold out, so they have none, or two, they haven't done the inventory from what's left at the games. They have to like inventory all that in before they can post it up on the site. And that could take a little bit of time getting back to headquarters and unloading that stuff. And Jeff Bako quoting the great Canadian band Loverboy. So everybody's working for the weekend. Yes, they are. All right. Jody, I was in design mode, completely focused. Now. We're getting a little ahead of over our skis here, buddy. Mike Reno is God. My favorite Canadian band is a band called Triumph. I like them a lot better than Loverboy. Have a handful of Triumph albums on vinyl that I listen to quite frequently. So I'm more of a Rick Emmett guy than a Mike Reno guy. Anyway, if you guys have any favorite memories from the weekend, would love to hear what they are, either in the comments or in the chat, because it was an incredible weekend. Vindicate, a man who knows. Correct, leftover inventory will be on the site eventually. I don't know how much there is left over. The stuff was selling like crazy, which goes to show you it was much needed. Much needed. But hopefully there'll be some stuff available, or they do a reprint or a restock on some of the stuff that sold well. Rush. I like Rush. Never was a huge Rush guy. But the first song I ever learned how to play on guitar was a Rush song. I'm trying to think of what it was. Fly By Night. I learned how to play Fly By Night. That was the first song I learned how to play on the guitar. Linda says Tia and Willow. That was a great moment. And I was like, oh my gosh, how could you do that to Tia right before an event? But thankfully she's the GOAT and she can kind of like turn off the emotions and just get to it. But God, man, like seeing my kid on the screen right before I'm going would probably break me. Would probably break me. I thought the stream was good. Now Sarah's just poking the bear. So what I'll say about this, and I think sometimes it gets confused. When I talk about the broadcast, there's really only one criticism I have, and it's too many close-up shots. My beef is not with the announcers. My beef is not with the quality of the stream. My beef isn't with anything but the fact that we miss some of the races because we get focused on one person. And it makes it just hard for me to watch. When you go to so many things live and you can watch the whole thing and watch it play out, you get spoiled in what you want to see. Then when you go back and try to watch it on a stream and you're told what you can see and you only get to see one or two people, it gets very, very frustrating. So that is my beef with the streams, is that they focus on too narrow of a coverage. I want to see more that's going on. I don't need a far away full floor shot. I just want 2 or 3 athletes on the screen at a time. That's all. The fact that the broadcast missed the Medeiros James finish that happened ahead of Hopper is criminal. You had the long march on the lunge, and you saw both of them coming up onto Hopper, and you knew that it was going to be tight between all three of them. To lose them completely was just an awful execution of the ending of that event. They were warning you they were coming down that lunge, and they still didn't do that. Trained Olive says I also shed a tear when Hopper thanked his wife after winning. I thought that was really cool. Really, really cool. Really enjoyed that. And he talked about that a lot on his interview with Siobhan as well, and all that she does for him. So that was awesome. The last thing I wanted to talk about is that as much as Jody Lynn, I was in the stands on the finish line. I missed it too, Scott. Jody, you could see him coming. Good seats, though, huh? Jeff Bako thinks Cole Sager is God. Wow. They probably thought Hopper wasn't going to drop the bar. Well, maybe, but you still saw that it was 3 of them. To focus on one for that long, and I know he was going to be the champ, and I know you want to hear Chase say something magical about what he's going to do. I get all that. But the race for that win ended up being before he finished. And you have time to say the magical phrase after it's all over. It can happen 2 or 3 minutes after and still be profound. Sometimes there's magic in just hearing the crowd roar and seeing Jason celebrate and the smile on his face before you say the profound thing. You can let that air out a little bit before the thing is said. So just just give me the race. Because that was big for the final standings too. But with that, and it's going to be that way for a couple years. We've got, this year it was 9 athletes that could have won. Next year, maybe it's 7 or 8, or maybe there's more. Maybe Ty Jenkins steps up. Maybe a couple others step up. Maybe Bill Leahy steps up. And you have more athletes in the mix. The closer that closer that these men get together, the more these finishes are going to happen, where multiple things happen. I felt the same with the joke handstand push-up workout. The joke. I don't know what the joke was, but they did kind of stay on one person shaking out their arms all the time, right? I don't think we needed to see that forever. What I'm going to finish up with is, I've told you that I've been working with the Legends crew to have media access at the Masters CrossFit Games. Been working with them for months. I talked to them a few weeks ago. They assured me I had them and I would get some media stuff in the next day or two, and I still have not received that weeks later. I followed up this week asking what has been released, what can they give me, and I still have not heard back. So I have no idea what the hell is going on. Yoke. Now I gotcha. The yoke handstand push-ups. Got it. So I don't know what's happening with Masters or the age group CrossFit Games. Maybe I don't have access. But regardless, I'm going to be there. They're in my hometown. If I have to buy a ticket, I buy a ticket. I'll still take my camera in. I'll still walk around. I'll still see my people. I'll still talk to my people. I'll try to document it the best I can. But hopefully I hear something. When we're less than 2 weeks away from the age group CrossFit Games here in Columbus, and I'm just shocked I haven't heard anything. So I don't know. I don't know why. Like, we are the only company that really covers Masters in depth, and I don't know why we have to fight every year to do it. So I'm more worried for Caitlin, my photographer, videographer for the weekend. I just want to make sure she has access. I can find a way, regardless, to talk to people. It doesn't have to be in the warm-up area. It would be nice if it was, but yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Judy Reed is trying to get a deal. Tickets are expensive. We were waiting to try and get some kind of deal. Yeah, I hope you find something. It's going to be tough, though, because I don't think it's going to sell out. But Judy will be there Friday and Saturday. Lido will be there all week. I'm taking it. But either way, I'm going to go talk to Shanna. I'm going to talk to Denise. I'm going to talk to Lido. I'm going to talk to Carolyn and Jamie. We're going to have some stuff. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get there. Jay Birch about the broadcast. 2 to 3 athletes left, right, and then right, left in the panning shot. Yes, that's what I want. Yeah, the ticket prices are crazy. Carolyn brought that up Sunday night that um the ticket prices for the games were crazy. And I just thought like Wadapalooza kind of gets that right. They start their event on Thursday, and I don't know if people know this, but Thursday at Wadapalooza is free to the public. Just walk in. You can watch anything you want. I don't know if they still do that, but they used to when it was at Bayfront. Thursdays were free. People would come in, check it all out. And then if people loved it, then they would buy tickets and come in for the rest of the weekend. And if you've been to events in the CrossFit space, Wadapalooza sells a hell of a lot of tickets. So maybe they're on to something there. Maybe when on those low days like Friday morning when nobody's in the building, they can give away some tickets for just the general public to come in and watch an event and understand what CrossFit is and maybe like fall in love with it. And then maybe that you get them go looking for an affiliate, or maybe they buy more tickets for the rest of the weekend. I think the CrossFit sometimes is so short-sighted on the money that they don't see how maybe giving up a little upfront solves a problem down the road. Make CrossFit free for a day. If they would do that for the games, the first event should not be Run, Row, Run. Well, the only thing is Run, Row, Run was free to the public. Anybody could go down to the park and watch that happen. Wadapalooza tickets are cheaper than Masters, and they aren't cheap. Right. But Wadapalooza did, like when they were Bayfront, Thursday was free to the public, and then maybe they'd buy tickets for the rest of the weekend, or maybe they'd buy a one-day pass. Brilliant marketing strategy. You pick the day you have the lowest attendance, let everybody in for free, fill up the stands. It looks good on a stream. So, anyway, I am over again. Need to get back to work. I've got to get this project done at work. I did see something. Barry McCockiner, that's a sweet hat. Do you have the old Indians Major League Baseball hats? This is actually a training camp, spring training hat of the Pirates from maybe a handful of years ago. It's actually more lightweight and meshy than their traditional hat, but it was used for spring training in Florida. That's what this one is, Barry. And spring training is the only time the Pirates are good. I did see this yesterday, Jay Birch. New hybrid L2 dropped, half online, half in person. I did see that as my L1 is expiring this year. That might be a viable option to do half and half. And it's good for 5 years. But it was sent out in an email. If you're on the CrossFit mailing list, I think it came out Wednesday, because I was talking to Corey about it before we went on the air. But there is a new hybrid L2 that you take, but it is coaching, and you're judged on your coaching ability, so that you do have to be in person for that part of it. Actually giving the cues, the verbal cues, the tactile cues, you have to be there in person. But the more lecture type stuff you can do online. So that is a new option for the L2. And maybe we can talk about that a little bit more as we move forward on other shows. George says Friday should have been free. First day it is free. Yeah. I think that could be a marketing strategy, at least for a couple years, to get some people who may not go to watch it live, go watch it live. And then maybe they fall in love with it and become addicted, and then they keep going. So with that, guys, I need to get back on this project. Love hanging out with you guys, but need to keep my job to pay the bills. With that, you knuckleheads need to get back to work as well. And we'll see everybody Sunday night for Sunday Night CrossFit Talk. And then we'll be here all next week with Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.